Location: Hamilton County Courthouse, 2:17 p.m. A single tear on the wrong face. A courtroom holding its breath. A teenage black boy facing down the kind of justice that comes not from facts, but from fear. When 14-year-old Isaiah is accused of assaulting a white girl at school, the whole town turns against him. Her tears tell one story, the truth tells another. But what no one expects is the twist that shatters everything. The courtroom is silent except for the ticking of the wall clock above the judge's head. The wood-paneled walls feel too close, heavy with the weight of what is unspoken. An old, dusty flag droops beside the bench, and fluorescent lights hum overhead. The jury box is full, but none of the jurors meet Isaiah's eyes. Isaiah sits in his pressed school uniform, hands folded in his lap, his knee bouncing slightly. His blazer is too tight in the shoulders, and sweat beads on the back of his neck. He's only 14. His face is round, still soft with youth, but drawn tight with fear. Across from him, Claire Henderson stands. Her voice cracks. Her face is blotchy, and a red scratch runs from her temple to her jaw. She points at Isaiah, her hand trembling slightly. It was him. He grabbed me. Behind Isaiah, his mother clenches her purse in her lap. Fingers pale from the pressure. Her eyes burn holes into the back of his head, but not with anger, with helplessness. Isaiah's lawyer leans in, his whisper barely audible. "Don't react. Just breathe." Isaiah tries. The breath catches in his throat. The judge leans back, rubbing his temple as if he has already made up his mind. The bailiff shifts by the door. Someone coughs. The silence is thick. The jury looks convinced. Claire's story has emotion, pain, and tears. Isaiah's side has only stillness and unanswered questions. No one asks why there is no video. No one questions why Claire's timeline keeps shifting. No one brings up that Isaiah has never been in trouble, that he is on the honor roll, that he tutors third graders after school. He looks more confused than guilty. But confusion does not always win sympathy. And the truth, right now, feels too quiet to matter. Where are you watching from? Have you ever been in a room where the truth was too quiet? Let us know. Isaiah Carter is 14 years old and carries himself with a quiet confidence. He is a straight-A student from a working-class neighborhood where corner stores and city buses paint the rhythm of daily life. His mother, Donna, works overnight shifts as a nurse at the county hospital. His father passed away 2 years ago from sudden heart failure. Since then, Isaiah has grown more reserved, more focused. His world is built around small routines and quiet dreams. He wakes up before sunrise, checks on his mom before she heads to her shift, and walks his little sister to school before catching the train uptown. He loves coding, gets lost in graphic novels, and spends hours designing characters and storylines in an old sketchpad that he keeps hidden under his bed. He draws not just heroes and villains, but entire cities, futuristic skylines and secret tunnels, places he can escape into when the real world feels too heavy. He does not talk much in class unless called on. His voice is soft but clear. His teachers note his punctuality, his steady hand on exams, his curiosity when solving problems. He always sits near the front. He rewrites his notes at night with color-coded tabs. He volunteers for tech crew during assemblies and quietly fixes classmates' laptops when they glitch. He attends an elite private academy uptown, a place with historic stone buildings, ivy-covered walls, and a long reputation for sending students to Ivy League universities. Isaiah got in through a scholarship program meant to diversify the student body. He is one of only 5 black students in the entire school. On the surface, he fits in, but under the uniform, he often feels like an imposter walking among portraits that do not resemble him. From the beginning, some students made it clear he was different. They did not say it outright, but the message came in glances, in where they sat, in what they did not say, in group projects where he was ignored, in jokes told with eyes on him. One student once called him "scholarship boy" under their breath. Another laughed and asked, "Do you even understand Shakespeare?" Isaiah learned to keep his guard up. He kept his answers short, his gaze steady, his smile measured. He learned how to blend. But even blending cannot fully erase the feeling of being watched. Claire Henderson was different, or at least that was how it seemed. She sat near him in English, smiled in the hallways, asked about his favorite books. She complimented his coding project during a science fair. At school events, she stood near him during conversations. To anyone watching, it looked like a quiet friendship forming. But Isaiah noticed the shift in the room when they spoke. He saw the subtle tilt of heads, the glances exchanged, the frowns. One day in the locker room, after gym, a student leaned in and muttered, "What's your angle, bro?" Isaiah pretended not to hear, but he heard. He always does. He never responded to rumors. He never assumed more than kindness. But he also never felt entirely safe. At home, he found peace in the hum of his computer and the steady lines of his drawings. He helped his sister with homework. He folded laundry. He told his mom not to worry even when the weight pressed into his chest. His mother always told him, "You do not get to make mistakes the way others do, so move carefully." So he moved carefully, always. Ever felt targeted just for showing up? Let us talk about it. It began quietly, on an ordinary afternoon. Isaiah had stayed late after school, working in the library to finish a group project that no one else had helped with. The room was mostly empty. Only the rustling of notebook pages and the occasional murmur from the librarian disturbed the silence. As he packed up, Claire Henderson walked in. She wore her usual light blue sweater and had her backpack slung over one shoulder. They exchanged a few words, small talk, homework, a new book she was reading, music. It was brief, quiet, almost forgettable. When she left, he stayed behind a few minutes longer to return a borrowed pencil and check out a graphic novel. Later that evening, everything changed. Claire arrived home with tears in her eyes, scratches on her cheek, and dirt on her jeans. She told her parents that she had been attacked on school grounds near the library. She said a boy grabbed her, threatened her, told her not to tell anyone. Her parents called the school. The school called the police. Within hours, whispers were racing down locker-lined hallways. "It was a black kid," someone said. "He grabbed her and tried to cover it up." Another voice added, "He told her to keep quiet or else." By the following morning, the principal issued a statement. "This matter is being taken seriously. It does not reflect our school's values." No one had spoken to Isaiah. During fourth period, 2 officers walked into his classroom. His classmates went silent. He was handcuffed in front of everyone. The teacher stood frozen. No one asked him a question. No one offered him a chance to speak. His mother was called from the hospital mid-shift. When she arrived at the precinct, Isaiah was sitting alone in a cold, gray room. The detective's questions were sharp, repetitive, designed for confession, not clarity. Isaiah kept repeating the same truth. "I talked to her. That's all. We talked." When asked about the surveillance footage, the school claimed the hallway camera had a technical malfunction. The footage had a gap, exactly during the time Claire had described. Isaiah's coding teacher tried to speak up. So did the librarian. Neither had seen anything suspicious, but their words were brushed aside. The accusation had already spread. Social media posts, texts, rumors. Students who never knew his name suddenly knew his face. He was suspended indefinitely pending investigation. His scholarship was paused. His teachers were instructed not to contact him until further notice. At home, he sat in silence. He stared at his backpack, still zipped from the night before. He pulled out the sketchbook with his city designs. It did not feel like his anymore. The truth was still there, but it was quiet. Ever watched a lie move faster than truth? Let us discuss it. The weeks before the trial are filled with tension that touches every corner of Isaiah's life. His neighborhood buzzes with whispers. At church, some members avoid eye contact. Others offer quiet support, slipping notes into his mother's hand that read, "We believe you." Across the city, conversations boil. Community groups take sides. Some are quick to condemn. They call Isaiah a predator. They repost headlines without reading beyond the bold letters. Others rise in defense, calling him a scapegoat, a symbol of a system too quick to judge boys who look like him. Isaiah's lawyer, Layla Monroe, is young but sharp, a civil rights attorney known for taking on cases others dismiss as unwinnable. She meets Isaiah and his mother in their small living room, flipping through a folder thick with notes. Her voice is calm, but her eyes never stop moving. She starts pulling at threads. Claire's timeline is inconsistent. One moment, she was leaving early for an appointment. Another time, she claimed she stayed to study. There's no clear record of where she was before the alleged attack. Layla interviews students, combs through hallway schedules, and talks to school staff. Whispers emerge that Claire had been grounded for sneaking out the weekend before. There are rumors she fought with her parents the night of the accusation. Layla cannot prove everything, but she can raise questions. The district offers Isaiah a plea deal. Time served, community service, no record. Isaiah refuses. "If I say I'm guilty," he says quietly, "I lose everything, even if I walk free." His mother holds his hand, tears in her eyes. Each night, she cries softly behind her bedroom door. She thinks Isaiah does not hear, but he does. They don't want the truth, she tells Layla one afternoon. They want a headline. The case draws attention online. At first, a few tweets. Then a thread from a local journalist gains traction. The hashtag #Justice for Isaiah trends for 3 days. Artists sketch his face. Students from other schools post videos of support. A retired judge calls the school's handling deeply flawed. But just as quickly, a celebrity scandal hits. The internet shifts focus. The news cycle spins on. The trending bar moves. Isaiah stays inside most days. He reads case files with Layla. He writes in a journal. Sometimes he sketches. Not cities now, but cages, windows with no glass, faces with no names. The trial date looms. The weight of it is in every meal, every breath. Isaiah does not ask for sympathy. He asks for a chance to speak. His future hangs in the balance. One person's word against his, and a system that decides before listening. Ever seen someone's future hang on someone else's lie? Share your take. The trial begins under heavy gray skies. Reporters gather outside the courthouse, their cameras aimed at the steps as if waiting for a confession to walk through the doors. Inside, the courtroom is nearly full. Parents from the academy sit in the back row. Former classmates whisper behind cupped hands. Claire's family fills the front bench. Each day, Isaiah sits in the same seat, his school uniform pressed, his hands folded. His mother sits beside him, her purse clutched tightly on her lap. knuckles pale. Claire takes the stand first. Her voice shakes. She tells the jury about her fear, about the moment she says Isaiah cornered her. She describes how she ran, how she fell. Her father watches, jaw clenched. Her mother dabs at her eyes. The courtroom leans in. Isaiah listens without moving. He watches the jurors scribble notes. He watches the judge shift behind the bench. Then Layla stands. Her approach is calm, measured. She thanks Claire for her bravery, then begins to ask questions. "You said he grabbed your wrist," Layla says, but the pattern of bruising documented by the school nurse matches an open-hand fall onto gravel. Was your wrist bruised when you arrived home or after? Claire blinks. I don't remember. You also mentioned you screamed, Layla continues. But no one in the library or nearby corridors reported hearing anything. Could it be that what you felt was fear, not necessarily danger? Claire stammers again. Her gaze shifts to the jury. The courtroom murmurs. The judge calls for silence. That evening, as Layla packs up her notes, a man approaches quietly. He is one of the Academy's technology staff, a substitute teacher in the media lab. "I wasn't supposed to keep this," he whispers, pressing a USB drive into her hand. "But I knew this would happen." Back in her office, Layla plugs the drive into her laptop. On the screen, grainy footage from a side hallway camera. The footage had been marked corrupted and removed from the main security report. The timestamp matches the time of the incident. The footage shows Claire walking quickly, not limping, not crying. She passes Isaiah, who is standing by a locker putting a book into his bag. She speaks to him briefly. He nods once. Then she storms off. Seconds later, the camera from the stairwell catches her tripping. Her foot catches on her backpack strap. She tumbles. No one touches her. She lands hard on her side, then sits up slowly, alone. The footage is not long, but it is enough. Layla submits the drive as new evidence. The judge reviews it. The prosecution objects. The judge overrules. In court the next morning, the footage is played. The room is silent except for the hum of the television cart. When it ends, no one moves. Layla turns to the jury. The truth was always here. Someone just needed to look beyond what they were told. Isaiah does not smile, but his shoulders straighten. He looks at the jurors, at the judge, at Claire. He still does not hate her, but he no longer fears her either. Have you ever held on to the truth, hoping someone would finally ask? Let us share. The courtroom holds its breath as Layla steps forward. She loads the USB into the courtroom computer, her fingers steady. The grainy footage appears again on the screen. Claire in the hallway. Claire walking past Isaiah. Claire tripping alone down the back stairs. This time, Layla plays the clip in full, pausing before the end. "Please listen closely," she says. "This version has cleaned audio." The footage plays again, slower. A faint exchange of words is heard. Layla amplifies the volume. The room is silent, every eye locked on the screen. Then comes Claire's voice. "If you don't stop talking to me, I swear I'll make you regret it." The words land like a thunderclap. A gasp rises from the gallery. A juror shifts visibly. Claire's face drains of color. She shakes her head slightly, as if trying to undo what was just heard. The prosecutor leaps to their feet. This doesn't prove he didn't hurt her elsewhere. The judge raises a hand. For the first time in the trial, he leans forward, interested. "It shows something, counselor. It shows a threat was made, and it raises doubt." Layla turns to Claire. "Do you recall making that statement?" Claire's hands twist in her lap. She looks at her father, then her mother. Her voice is a whisper. I didn't think it would go this far." The courtroom erupts. Reporters scramble for notes. A woman in the gallery gasps aloud. Claire's mother covers her face and sobs. Her father stands, red-faced, and storms out the back of the courtroom without a word. The judge bangs his gavel for order. This court will maintain decorum. Isaiah sits still, his heart pounding. Layla's hand briefly rests on his shoulder. He does not look at Claire. He does not have to. The silence around her says enough. Layla turns to the jury again. "Ladies and gentlemen, now you know. This is not about confusion. This is not about fear. This is about intent." Claire begins to cry on the stand. Not the tears from her first testimony, but a quieter unraveling. A truth exposed too late. The judge calls for a recess. Bailiffs usher people out. Isaiah walks behind his mother, the echo of the video still ringing in his ears. He does not feel victory. He feels relief. Heavy, aching, quiet relief. Have you ever witnessed a mask fall right in front of a crowd? How did they respond? The jury leaves the courtroom just after lunch. The deliberation room door closes with a soft click, but the weight of what it holds feels enormous. Isaiah sits silently beside his mother. Layla paces slowly behind them, her heels muffled by the courtroom carpet. The judge steps away. The gallery quiets. 3 hours pass. Each minute stretches endlessly. Reporters fidget. Claire stares at the floor. Her mother's eyes are swollen. Her father never returned after the recess. When the jury files back in, Isaiah's heart pounds so loudly he thinks it might drown out the words. They sit in their assigned seats, faces unreadable. The foreperson stands. The judge returns. The clerk reads the verdict aloud. Not guilty. A breath Isaiah did not know he had been holding escapes. His mother clutches his hand and cries softly. Layla nods, her face still composed. Claire looks down, her cheeks red. Reporters race toward Claire's family as they exit through a side door, cameras flashing. No statements are made. They vanish into the back seat of a black SUV with tinted windows. Outside, Layla holds a press conference. Microphones surround her. She clears her throat, then begins. Today's verdict is a victory not just for Isaiah Carter, but for every young person whose voice has been ignored because of how they look or where they come from. We cannot continue to allow black children to be punished for the power of perception, while others are protected by the benefit of the doubt. She pauses. Reporters scribble. Some nod. Isaiah was innocent from the beginning. But innocence alone is not always enough. We need to change the systems that make it so hard to be believed. Back inside, Isaiah hugs his mother tightly. She kisses his forehead and strokes his hair. He whispers, "Can we go home now?" She nods, holding him close. School administrators send an email the next day, a short note acknowledging the outcome of the trial. They offer no public apology, no press conference, no action steps. Isaiah's scholarship is reinstated, but the damage remains. Students do not look at him the same. Some avoid him, others whisper apologies they are not brave enough to say aloud. The hallway feels colder, the classroom quieter. Still, Isaiah returns. He holds his head high. He finishes his projects. He mentors younger students. He writes. He draws. He breathes. Justice came, late, but still in time. Have you ever seen justice arrive too late, but still in time? Share the moment. Isaiah transfers to a different school the following fall. It is smaller, quieter, with teachers who take time to learn students' names and classmates who ask real questions. There is less history in the walls, less weight in the air. He joins the debate team, something he had always been curious about but never brave enough to try. In the small auditorium where practices are held, Isaiah learns how to shape his voice, how to argue with both fire and grace. He discovers the power of precision, of research, of knowing what to say and when to say it. His first debate topic is about justice in schools. He speaks from a place deeper than notes. Layla becomes more than a lawyer. She becomes a mentor. She checks in monthly, sends him articles, invites him to courtrooms to observe trials, and introduces him to pre-law programs for teens. She tells him, "Your voice changed a verdict. Use it to change more." Isaiah starts a podcast with two classmates. They call it The Color of Truth. It is raw, thoughtful, and honest. They talk about fairness, identity, pressure, and silence. He invites guests from his old neighborhood, from schools, from courtrooms. The podcast begins to gather a following. One episode is picked up by a local NPR affiliate. They are invited to speak at a youth leadership summit. A year after the trial, Claire issues a public apology through her family's lawyer. The statement is brief. "I didn't realize what I'd done," she writes. "I was scared and made a mistake that hurt someone who did not deserve it." Some accept it. Some do not. For Isaiah, it changes little. The damage lingered, but so did his resilience. Isaiah's story begins showing up in classrooms. Professors use it in law schools across the country to discuss bias, evidence, and the impact of perception. His case becomes a study in what happens when truth is buried and how it can still rise. He still draws, still codes, still finds moments of quiet on long walks with his sister, who now calls him her superhero. He does not dwell on the trial, but he remembers, because remembering keeps the truth sharp, and silence is what allowed the lie to grow. Isaiah's life did not go back to normal. It grew into something new, something honest. And every time he steps behind a mic, or opens his laptop to record, or speaks in front of a classroom full of strangers, he leads with this: justice must be louder than assumption. Share this if you believe the truth must be protected, especially when it hurts.